Welcome. What I want to do today is show you how to solve for b by factoring. So what I'm going to do whenever I'm solving, I need to make sure I isolate my variable. So by isolating a variable, I need to make sure I at least have my variables on the same side of the equation, right? So right here I have a b squared and an 8b. I need to get these on the same side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the 8b on both sides. Therefore, I can get it on the left side. So now I have my equation in form of a quadratic polynomial. Now, this is very important that since it's now in this quadratic form, I can factor it into two binomials. And just to kind of do this on the quicker sense, I'm not going to go through the elongated way of factoring. Remember, if I was going to write it into two binomials, I could have my first two terms are going to give me the first part of my quadratic, which would be b squared. So b times b is going to provide me with b squared. Then I need to look at the last two numbers. If you remember, if you were to think about foiling, these last two numbers multiply to give you your last number, your quadratic. Well, what two numbers multiply to give me 15, but then add to give me negative 8? Well, those two answers could be b minus 3 and b minus 5. Now, to double check your answer whenever you're doing this type of factoring, we can always just write, is that true or not? Well, you can just take b minus 3 times b minus 5. And then what I can do is use my factoring technique, or not factoring technique, but multiplying technique. We'll use FOIL to determine that becomes b squared minus 3b minus 5b plus 15, which gives you b squared minus 8b plus 15. So, check. That's good. We know that I've now factored this correctly into two different binomials. Put the check below. Yay. All right, so now the next thing we need to understand is, so at this point, I still need to get my b's by myself. I have two b's over here. So what I need to understand is what we call the zero product property. And what the zero product property states is a times b equals 0. And this is so important for us to use because whenever you multiply two numbers, you're always going to, whenever you multiply two numbers and you get 0, that means one of those numbers has to equal 0. Meaning I can separate this a times b equals 0 to mean a equals 0 or b equals 0. Now that's very important because what I have is I have a binomial times another binomial equals 0, which is very similar to just saying a times b equals 0. So that means I can set both of these. I could say that a is b minus 3 and b is b minus 5. Now I can set both of these equal to 0. So I can write b minus 3 equals 0 and b minus 5 equals 0. Therefore, now I add a 3 and a 5 on both sides, and I get b equals positive 3 and b equals positive 5. And those are going to now be the solutions of my problem. And there you go. That is now solved for b. Thanks.